Zoom does a
Okay.
pretty good job of recording both.
Then,
Good.
yeah, awesome.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Set Listing Bruce, your podcast all about music, all kinds of music. Hey, I made a change there. Today, I am joined by a multiple time guest and one of my sweetest friends, Alice Ashcroft. Welcome to the show, Alice.
Thank you so much for having me back. I'm so excited to be on again.
Yes, I am so excited. But in case someone did not hear the first 2 episodes, and they should,
Yeah, go
uh,
back and listen.
yes, tell us a little about yourself.
So I'm a singer-songwriter from Northwest England. Um, I release kind of pop is probably the main genre, I'd say, but it's kind of got a bit of folky vibes in there because that's what I was raised around. So yeah, I release my own music about my own life. Yeah, and Jesse's been kind enough to have me on a couple of times talking about the releases I've had over the last couple of years, and I'm now currently working on my next album. So he very kindly invited me to come on and talk about that, which is exciting.
That is so exciting. I can't wait to hear about it. But in the meantime, so before we hit record, you mentioned you've gotten your first vaccine.
Yes, yeah, I
Yay.
mentioned it because you've very cleverly put on your Twitter name, fully vaccinated. You're wearing it as a badge of honor, which I think is
Yes.
excellent. Yeah, I was really lucky in I got invited earlier than I expected. So I don't know how it's working because it's different by state as well in America, isn't it? How they're
Yes.
rolling it out. But at least in the UK, they're rolling it out by age group, unless of course you have like an underlying health condition and then you get invited
Yes.
first.
Similar thing here, though we've reached the point where they're now opening it to almost anyone and just pushing people.
That's really good.
We've kind of reached a plateau where we're trying to get those. There are certain people that are afraid of the vaccine for whatever reason, and so we're trying to change people's minds to say, hey, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
This is a good thing for all of us if we want life to get back to normal. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and it's the only way I think I might get accidentally very political here, but other countries who locked down earlier and closed the borders and implemented good track and trace system have the luxury of waiting to get the vaccines, and they have because they've got it under control, whereas at least in the UK and from what I've seen in America, but I'm not an expert on what's happening over there.
Yeah.
We're not in a position where we can afford to wait. We've either got to get the vaccine or life's not going to go back to normal. So
absolutely. Where did you get your vaccine? What was your process of getting it?
So I got invited by my local doctors to go and get it. So yeah, they're not rolling it out by age. So first it was like over 60s and over 50s. I think right now we're on over 45s.
Okay.
But I think because I have various health, I'm not like super at risk, but because I was registered with my doctors, they invited me earlier than I expected to, which was really good.
That's great.
So I got that, like a month ago. I had the Oxford AstraZeneca one, which they decided on the day in the UK wasn't safe for people in my age group.
Oh no.
Statistically, it's less risky than being on the contraceptive pill, and it's definitely scaremongering in the press. But I just thought it was really funny that it was on the same day I'd had mine. I decided it wasn't.
So I got the Pfizer, and I tell you what, I haven't talked about this on the podcast, but it was amazing. I got a text saying, come out. And so there is this, not too far from my house, is Texas Motor Speedway, this huge racetrack.
Okay.
And so you drive into the entrance, and there's people waving you, and they have like 7 or 8 cars lined up in different lanes, and the first person stops you and says, "Can I see your cue card?" And so I had my little bar and your driver's license, and they said, okay, go up there. And so you drove to the next one. They handed you a clipboard with paper, a document to fill out, and just simple questions. And okay, in your car.
Oh wow, okay.
And then you drive up, and then you drive through the next.
That's so bizarre.
And you hand the paperwork, and they go, okay, and they put a little like sticker on your dashboard to show that you've been checked. Then you drive into a tent. The lady says, which arm? I'm like, well, here. And
Yeah.
so my window is rolled down. She takes the needle, sticks it in my arm, puts the little thing and says, okay, go there, wait 15 minutes. If you're reacting poorly,
Mhm.
flash your lights or honk your horn and someone will come out. And so you go and you sit in the car for 15 minutes and then they wave you out. It
Wow,
was, it was,
that's insane.
it was insanely efficient. And
That's really good.
and I'm actually a little teary eyed thinking it now, to think of all those volunteers and all the people,
Mm,
and they're just rolling through those people, just getting through
it's
it.
crazy.
Yeah.
You'll
So,
get this as a so I don't think we have the drive-through ones. We have drive-through testing in
yeah.
some places, but not for vaccines, I don't think. Um, but what I find really funny, and I get this whenever I end up in a queue,
Mhm.
especially in a queue where you're being separated into lines and going into different
Yeah.
cubicles. I always, probably because I was raised at the time of Doctor Who, and I
Yeah.
know you'll appreciate this, I always think I'm going to get converted into a Cyberman.
Yes,
Like whenever
exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
in a queue going into a cubicle, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get turned into a Cyberman.
Well, that, not to get too political, is more logical than a lot of reasons why people are not wanting a
I
vaccine.
don't think that's too political. I think it's just common sense at this point.
Yes, exactly. All
Yeah,
right.
it's really
Well,
amusing.
so um, let's talk a little bit about your new music. So um, I want to get to the Kickstarter in a minute, but in the meantime, like the last time we talked, you had your dungarees.
Yeah.
And I love that single, and I love that we had a great discussion. So you're working on a brand new full album,
Yeah. So when I wrote Dungarees, I didn't really know what it was going to be a part of. Like
right?
previously, I've always worked towards like an EP or an album or some sort of collection of songs in
Yeah,
some way. And Dungarees was the first time, not the first time, because obviously I was like, I did this as a teenager, but the first time in a while where I had sat down to just write for the sake of writing. And I think I might have mentioned when we were on the podcast, I can't remember, that, oh, I think I might turn it into an album, or I think I might
yeah,
put it to an EP. I wasn't really certain. And then I was left alone with my thoughts and too much time over the last year, as I think many of us have been.
sure.
um, and I just sort of kept writing really. Um, and so there's a few other tracks on there. Dungarees 2 is on there. And some of it's sort of to do with wanting to get out into the world and travel, which I think a lot of people are feeling at the moment. And some of it's also about finding, like Dungarees is, I guess, finding comfort in your home and being comfortable and surrounded by the people that you love.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, it's just something I've been writing over the last year, and I was like, this needs to be an album, I think.
Well, I know that one of the things I really liked about your single dungarees is the idea that you're that you're so comfortable with someone in the relationship, it feels like, you're putting on your favorite
Yeah,
pair of dungarees or jeans, as we
yeah,
talked about last time.
yeah,
So I think that's a great, theme and a thought. Um, the Kickstarter is Falling or Rising by Alice Ashcroft.
yeah.
If you go to Kickstarter and look for Alice Ashcroft, it'll come up. I also will include the link in the show.
Awesome.
In fact, let me see if I can do this. I've never tried to do this before recording. So, can I? Can I share a screen? So, yes. Now let's see if this shows up on the recording.
Sweet.
So you can see it, right? There's your
Oh,
Kickstarter.
and it's all
Yep.
in dollars. This is very exciting for me.
Yes. You've got 23 days to go.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. I'll have the link. Um, Talk to me about what some of the tiers you're offering.
Yeah, so well, first of all, there's an option where you can just pledge some money, any amount of money that
Yeah.
you like. So, because I do know that a lot of people nowadays just stream music on
Right.
Spotify, Apple Music, that sort of thing. So, if you don't want to buy the music in any way, but you would like to help an independent artist record that music,
Sure.
there's an option to throw any amount of money, whether that's a couple of quid, sorry, a couple of dollars. I'll do
Yeah.
American. A couple of dollars that you'd spend on a coffee, you want to throw that at me, then I'd really appreciate that. or there's other tiers where you get sort of rewards for that. So for £5, again, not sure what that is in
That's okay.
dollars,
Yeah, we understand.
but you get the singles, a bit more, and you can get a digital copy of the album. More than that, you then start to get CDs and posters and things like that. And then there's one tier which I'm very excited about, where if you pledge a certain amount of money, I will write you a song, which
Oh, how
is quite
fun.
exciting. No one's got that one yet, so I
Mhm.
think there's a limited number of them as well, because otherwise it might take me a while to get through.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to offer something kind of to say thank you to people that support my music and are pledging. And yeah, I'm really excited, because normally I would pay for recording and production through the money I get from playing gigs and playing concerts, but the last year has made that impossible to do. So it's the first time I've ever done something like this. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm quite excited, terrified at the same time, as I mentioned before we started recording,
Yeah, no,
but also excited.
it has to be, and it is, it's enough emotionally to put out music and then
Mm.
hope people like it, but then also to go there financially and saying, hey, if there's anything you can do to help me,
Yeah,
to back this art. But I think one of the beautiful things about this is you're giving your fans and people who love your music a chance to contribute and make this early. So I hope that a lot of people reach out and pledge, and I wish you a lot of success.
thank
Um,
you.
is there any specific track you're especially proud of?
Oh, so the next single that should be coming out in a couple of months. I don't know the final date. I think it's the end of June. And oh,
Yeah.
that's an exclusive. I've not announced that
Yeah, okay. Shoo, hey.
yet. So yeah, exclusive announcement there. But it's called When Will I Meet You? And I got the final version back of it a few months ago, and I listened to it and I just cried
Okay.
because I wrote this song, and I hope it's kind of got two meanings to it. One of them is you'll hear it and go, "This is about relationship," but
Hmm.
what it's actually about is a bit hidden, and I'm kind of excited to see if people pick up on the second meaning of the song. Um, but what? So I wrote that, and it was a very emotional thing for me to write, and I sent it to Kaylin, my wonderful producer, um, and then we go back and forth, and I send him different like melodies, and he says sing this harmony, and I sing that harmony and send it back to him.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of back and forth, and then he sends me demos as we're going through, but it had been a while since I had the last demo, and then he sent me the final version. So it had been a while since I'd heard it, and yeah, I hit play, and then about a minute into it I was just in tears.
Are
So
you are you recording at home, like a home studio?
I am, yeah. So it's the first time really that I've done this. So Dungarees, the single that came out last year, was the first thing that I'd recorded at home,
Yeah,
because the person that I normally record with, he moved to London.
right.
So instead of finding someone else, because we work so well together, I said, I have a budget of this, what do I need to buy? And he sent me links to microphones and interfaces and said,
Hmm.
buy these things and I'll help you get set up. So I now have like a little mini studio here at home. So I'm recording it all myself, which has been a learning curve because I'm definitely not a sound engineer.
Yes.
But all I have to record is the vocals. Kaylin records and produces everything else. So he's definitely bringing a lot to the table.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's been something I've had to learn how to do during lockdown, which has been probably something we would have to have done anyway because he now lives so far away. So it probably all came at about the right time, really.
So I'm going to ask you a dumb question,
I'm sure
but
it's not a dumb
please,
question.
Phil, no, because this is a. How much are you missing performing live?
Oh, in some ways, this is a complicated question because I've been asking
Okay.
myself this over the last
Yeah.
few, as things are opening up again. I'm like, what do I miss? I think I miss the gigs where people came to see me and they sang along words to songs that I'd written,
Sure.
and that's just the best feeling ever. But there were a few gigs where I would go and I was the evening's entertainment at a pub where everyone was drunk,
Right.
and I don't miss them.
Yeah, I think we talked about before. My friend Sarah Hickman,
Oh
in
yeah.
her early days, would play it anywhere she could.
Mm.
And so, a bar, a pub, or, just like a pizza place, right? Like just they
Yeah.
want some musical entertainment, and I'll never forget someone um, said, "Play Louie Louie, bitch." And she just like, do I need this?
You
do
just get, yeah.
I need this? you know, and
Drunk,
it just,
drunk people are the worst. Also the best, but sometimes the
yes,
worst.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It can be. So yeah, I can imagine that. Do you
But
have
yeah, the
any?
ones where,
Yeah,
sorry,
no, no,
the ones where people are listening and they come up to you and chat to you afterwards about their songs and like
yeah,
and what you've written, and you meet so many lovely people, and I definitely miss that when you're up on stage and people are like actively listening, maybe because I love being the center of attention.
hmm,
But when people are actively listening, and yeah, and when they sing your songs back to you, that's an amazing feeling, and I really miss that. It's been over a year since that now.
yeah. I bet I could do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So once again, Kickstarter.
Yes.
Go ahead and plug it again.
Yeah, so you can find my Kickstarter on my website, aliceashcroft.com/Kickstarter. I'm going to make that link live as soon as we're finished recording.
Okay.
So you can find all the links to it on there. Just any amount that you can, if you would like to. I'm also aware that this year has been really tough for a lot of people financially, so please only pledge if you can afford to and would
Right.
like to. But any amount at all is appreciated, and I'm going to be so grateful. And
As
thank
you
you, Jesse,
said,
for
even
letting
a
me on.
couple of quid, even a couple
Yeah,
of bucks helps. It makes a difference. That's
yeah,
appreciated.
absolutely.
Well, I just pledged, so I'm excited to get new music from you
Thank you.
and see what's going on. Um,
Thank you
so,
so
what
much.
else is going on? Are you doing new episodes of your podcast?
Oh yes, I've sent out invitations to people to come on the next series, which is exciting. Various authors and writers, which yeah, is it's all going quite well. I'm quite excited by that at the moment. I've sort of taken it in a new direction, so I'm changing the format slightly. But yeah, that's going to be starting to record over the next few months with a new series. I hope in September coming out. Um,
And remind everyone the podcast name.
So the podcast is called In Our Own Words, and you can find a link to it at aliceashcroft.com/podcast. Yeah, and it's really good fun. So if you like writing, be that songwriting, which I imagine many of your listeners do, or writing books or using words to tell stories, then it's a podcast that I hopefully you'll enjoy.
Well, awesome. Well, Alice, thank you so much for joining me for a very quick talk. I
Oh,
know
thank you
that
so
you and
much.
I could talk another hour just catching up, but I don't know
Easily.
how entertaining that would be to our audience. But wish you great success on the Kickstarter.
Thank you so much.
I will certainly be doing my part to promote it, and I just appreciate you so much. One more time, um, your website and Twitter handle and Instagram. Go ahead and give us your social media plugs.
Okay, so my website is aliceashcroft.com. My usernames on all social media except TikTok, because it was
Mhm.
already taken, are the music of Alice.
Okay, good. All right. Well, go check her out. Please support her. Listeners, this is the first podcast I've done in a while. You guys all know the medical issues I'm fighting. So I want to take just a few minutes of Alice's time to thank everyone for the lovely words of encouragement and the support, the great emails and tweets and posts. I appreciate it. I'll be doing a little bit more talking about my health, but surgery is scheduled for May 24th. I'm optimistic about it. And so, F cancer and no retreat, no surrender. For now, you take care, wear a mask, remember to social distance, go get vaccinated,
Yes.
and let's be good to each other because that's the only way we're going to get through this. Thank you and goodbye. All right. And turn off recording. There we go.